Welcome to a new episode of Pop Culture Minefield. That's Keith,
And that's Gerry.
and we are here to talk about some seriously nerdy nerd stuff. This week was deadly serious because we have a couple of things we wanted to go over, which is Keith brought up Vanity Fair released an article about Ghostbusters, talking
Yeah.
about Bill Murray, which is once
Yes,
more.
confirming Bill Murray's in the film because it was actually an interview that was actually conducted in September.
Very
And
good.
so they've been sitting on this all this time, and they've decided to release it now.
Fantastic. Plus, we're also going to talk about this new, I don't know, it's a little sci fi show called Star Trek Picard. I don't know if you've heard of it. Anyway,
Picard, you say? Picard or
Picard.
Picard?
Something like that. Anyway, we'll talk about it right after the opening credits.
From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gary Kissel.
Thanks for sticking around, and we are going to now get into this stuff. Let's start with Bill Murray.
Yeah, as we were saying, Vanity Fair, their reporter Anthony Breznican visited the set in Canada of the upcoming Ghostbusters Afterlife movie and was able to get a sit-down interview with Bill Murray. And
He is one of the most elusive creatures on this planet outside of, Sasquatch.
yeah. This is just coming up to Murray's birthday, so this was basically covering interviews with Bill Murray and Jason Reitman, and talking about the cast. This was during a period of time when it seemed like many of the original cast members were filming their appearances for the movie. Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Annie Potts was there, Sigourney Weaver. And it looks like everyone is definitely coming back with the exception of Rick Moranis. But the film looks like it's on track to make its July 10th premiere. And Jason Reitman just talks about where he basically got the idea from of a family that moves back to the mom's home in Oklahoma and discovers all of this stuff. And look, I got to tell you, I think this is definitely one of the most anticipated films of this year.
Yep.
July 10th cannot come quick enough. And the very fact that Vanity Fair has been sitting on this interview all this time and not saying anything means that everything, I think, has gone very well. Obviously, they may
And in the age of the 24-hour
gotten
news cycle, it is surprising they sat on it.
Yes. Well, I mean, I think the studio wanted them to do that. I think there's a level of mystery.
Maybe a little bit of money.
Well, I mean, you want in today's news cycle age online, it's more important to generate buzz than even actual stories. And I think that when they released the trailer last year, that it was important to keep the buzz going before you actually did anything. Before you actually
I got to tell you, they've done a good
directly.
job because, I mean, everybody's talking about Ghostbusters.
Everybody right now. And this is months after the first trailer is premiered. So, I mean, to me, this is spot on. And to have that happen now, today, at this moment, I think the only people that are pissed right now are CBS. So, There's
Speaking
a
of
lot of positive.
CBS, let's transition over to that because now you didn't watch it, but I've seen the premiere of this Star Trek Picard series.
Well,
And
let me set something up for you.
okay,
You realize that they've had premieres for this, that they've done premieres in the UK, and they've done premieres in LA, and I think New York or something. This has been something that has been on Instagram and various places online, but the actual turnout for these premieres have been less than stellar. These have not been well attended premieres, which means that CBS, or in this case Viacom, is very, very upset.
oh yeah,
And nobody's watching the premiere. Nobody came. For one premiere, they were expecting 500 people and got about 100.
and this is to be expected because we've been talking about this for a long time that when it comes to what trends online really does show how the success of a show is going because
Yeah.
if people aren't talking about it they're probably not watching it either
Yeah,
and
and that was one of the things for the premiere of Picard. One of the other things that had been pointed out uh, uh, by a few of the people that I followed online is one of the more disappointing things was the fact that when fans were asked to show up for the premiere, they all came dressed in Next Generation gear. They did not come in dressed in Discovery gear or gear related to CBS's version of Star Trek.
right.
And this has been a thing that those people, like myself, like yourself, and others, who've been saying, this is not going the way that you think. You know, that Star Trek from CBS is not as popular and as successful as many other channels that have direct contact or some contact with.
Well, yeah, the
with
media
CBS.
sources, Collider, all of them, they all kind of embellish and make it sound like it's uh, hugely popular and it's only a
Yeah,
small segment of the fan
and it's
base that
not just
don't
those
like it.
guys. There's also a lot of specialty Trek sites, YouTube channels that make it a point of trying to discourage or disrupt channels like ours who are telling you that this is not going very well. They're doing everything they can to quote unquote dispel the myths about the non-success of Discovery and of the disappointment that CBS is actually feeling. This is costing them a lot of money, and Picard needs to be successful. And I'm not just talking about just getting people to just watch a little bit of it and to talk about it. This needs to be successful on the level of The Mandalorian and on The Witcher. That's how
Very much so. And I
they
got to
need
tell you
this.
something after watching the premiere,
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do
No.
it.
No. Again, it's you've done all this damage to the brand, and now you set it up to where you
Alex
need one thing
Kurtzman.
to happen.
Alex Kurtzman did the damage. Sherry
Yes,
Redstone has
but
stepped
he,
up and tried to fix it, but it's not fixable at this point.
yeah, it's not just Alex Kurtzman, but Alex Kurtzman and his contract have done a majority of the damage. And again, I think this is going to be ripe for a book eventually. Just like with Lucasfilm, this entire situation with Star Trek, somebody's going to write the definitive book.
Or we'll get a really good documentary like the one Shatner hosted, Trouble on the Bridge. Remember that?
It is. Yeah. This is just. It's sad. It's sad to see Star Trek go down this road and have all of these problems, but nobody's buying the merchandise, and that is the number one thing that CBS needs people to do outside of buying their app to watch the exclusive
and it's
programming.
just not going to happen, not the way they're doing it.
No,
and because you've got to make a product that people want to see. And they made a product that everybody was like, well, like I've been overusing lately, meh. They were kind of meh
Well,
about it.
but on top of that, you also have to make, you also have to listen to the people that are experienced in creating much of the merchandising that they feel people want to buy. The merchandising developers, the companies that create things like the T-shirts
Well, like
and
Hasbro too.
Portland Toys and
Hasbro.
others, they they are just telling CBS that they got to the point that when it was time to discuss Picard, they basically told CBS that they don't want anything that even remotely touches on Discovery. They want Discovery is a hot topic in a bad way with many of the people that make a lot of the products. And I will say again that aside from just one or two major companies that you may know the name of, a lot of the people making very little of any of the merchandising, they're not seeing very much money come their way. I mean, a lot of you Discovery fans out there that love to look down on those of us that aren't big fans, you need to realize you need a lot of us to help you. There is no way at this point that anyone can see Discovery doing anything but more financial damage.
Yeah, but that divide, I think that divide is there's no bridges to be built in that divide.
Well, no. A lot of people that there are those people that are fans that aren't, they're fans and they enjoy what they enjoy. I got no problem with them. The people that I have a problem with are the ones that are going out of their way to talk out of their asses about how, they are so much in denial about how badly this is going that they are willing to argue with people and have not one iota or shred of proof to put forward about why they think it's more successful than it actually is. I mean, I keep telling people, go to your local Walmart, go to your local Walgreens.
There are no toys.
Go to Target. There are no toys. And I will tell you, as someone who lived through
without
Star Trek
merchandising, there is no success.
That's right. When Star Trek The Next Generation hit, it took a few months to get products on the shelves. And by the time the second season hit, they had product everywhere. They had magazines, they had T-shirts. You couldn't go to any conventions without seeing any number of stuff related to Star Trek The Next Generation. We are now closing in later on this year on the third season of Discovery, and you don't really see anything. I'm pretty sure you could find stuff online, but you don't see anything in a lot of the major stores.
Yeah, it's not to the extent.
It's not and it's just, but you know what? We could go on forever about this.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up.
Let's just break down Picard in just a couple of words. How would you, in 3 words or less, the pilot to Picard, what would you say? How would you describe it?
Dismal failure with hope. So it's 4 words.
Okay. Well, okay. So there you go. I mean, look, you can be a Star Trek fan. You can even like Discovery if you want. I'm not wishing any ill will on anybody that does. If this is your jam, watch it. But understand that
that's the problem. People, they don't have the numbers. And
yeah, they don't have the numbers. But
it's like I've talked about with Last Jedi to Rise of Skywalker. They are making these films for an audience that's not watching them or spending the money.
Yeah, that's the important thing. If you want to see more of that, if you want to see more of those characters, especially the Discovery crew, you need to increase the number of people that are paying for it.
Yeah, because it costs money to make these shows, and if you want to see more of it, you have to be willing to, 1, watch, talk about, and buy the merchandise.
One last thing about Patrick Stewart before we leave all of this. There's a lot of you out there that are reading the interviews, listening to the interviews, and you're listening to Patrick Stewart talk about his feelings and how they are making this show and how first time. Let me tell you something. This is an actor who is in his 80s, who has spent the better part of the last couple of years trying to pitch Paramount on another Star Trek film. Okay? You can Google all of this. This is something that you can find. He had been trying to pitch them on doing another Star Trek film with the Next Generation cast, and Paramount wasn't buying into it. They weren't having it. If tomorrow they were to announce that they were not making season 2 of Picard and instead went with an idea that Patrick Stewart himself came up with, which is having all of the actors from all 3 of the Rick Berman Star Trek shows, Next Gen, DS9, and Voyager,
right,
to combine into a movie, or in this case, doing what they do on CBS All Access, just turn it into an 8-episode epic adventure. And if they were to promise that it wouldn't be set in anything Calvin related, or even be connected to the Discovery mess, and just make it like it was within that universe, they would get an instant deal instantly from Amazon, Netflix, and any other service that would want to have it. They would have the money, and the merchandising would come back.
But more importantly, the fans would show up. And that's
the fans would definitely show up.
All right, guys.
And that definitely is it.
Thanks for watching. And this is Keith.
That's Gerry.
And we're out of here.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please remember to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Remember, you can find us at Pop Culture Minefield on both Facebook and Instagram. Thank you again.
Y'all come back now, you hear?